For Justice in Chicago comes to primetime. It's this Sunday as Dick Wolf premieres the new installment in his Chicago franchise. It takes viewers inside the state's attorney's office, a dedicated team of prosecutors, and the first case we see them handle is right out of the headlines.
Wilkes was brought in on a drug charge with a side of resisting arrest. 9 hours later, he's dead in OR at Lady of Hope.
Cops, paramedics, doctors, any one of them could be responsible.
We can expect some sort of public reaction.
In the form of Reverend Fitch?
What did you think of the man, Anna?
I've seen him on the news. He was a bit, well, intimidating.
Like you're talking to some sort of prophet right out of the Old Testament?
Nothing like the ambulance chaser representing Mrs. Wilkes.
Oh, William Fitch won't put up with that for long.
And he won't stop pushing either.
That's why you gotta get out in front of this immediately. Start at the hospital and work your way backwards.
Pretty cool stuff. You know, we in Detroit are fairly secure in our cityhood, so we're going to root for Chicago anything. But the guys are joining us this morning from New York City, Carl Weathers and Philip Winchester. Good morning. Thanks for being with us.
Good morning.
Thank you. Good morning.
So this is the fourth installment of the Chicago series. Anybody that's been watching Local 4 and NBC has been able to see these different events and shows come together with these crossover events. This is really more than just a show. It really brings the characters out in a big way. So, Carl, you play the state's attorney. Philip, your character is, you're the deputy chief of Special Prosecutions Bureau. Is that right? Have I got it all right?
That's it. Yeah, you should see my card. It's ridiculous.
It wraps around, doesn't it? And there's a little tension here between you guys. You're taking on each other. You don't always see eye to eye, right?
There is, yeah.
I don't feel any tension. I'm his boss. What are you talking about? There's no tension.
He's always right.
That's right, of course.
So now, you know, Dick.
I mean, look, the way that.
Go ahead.
The way that it's written is, Carl plays Mark Jeffries, and he's an elected official, and I'm not. So there's always that tension of the next election, and you know, getting people on board for that. And my position is just, it's black and white. If someone does something wrong, we're going to go after them. And that doesn't always bode well for this relationship.
No, it doesn't. I have to hold Philip's character back a little bit at the time, Peter Stone, because he's very, very aggressive. And of course, being an elected official, I want to come back again for my next round, you know, as the prosecuting attorney here in Chicago. So I can't let him go too far out on a limb and jeopardize anything I may be able to do in the future.
So, you know, there are a couple of things we've learned about the way Dick Wolf operates, and you know it much better than us, but we see these storylines coming right out of the headlines. You know, right down the hall from our studio here is the news department. This stuff is reminiscent of headlines we've had here in Detroit in just the past couple of months.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the success of Law & Order was, you know, laid witness to that, and what we want to do on this one is that exact thing. We want to take stuff that's culturally relevant, stuff that needs to be spoken about that maybe isn't spoken about, or stuff that's difficult to talk about, and talk about it like adults. And that's kind of, you know, because it's law, we want to give both sides of it and present it to the audience, and they can make their decision.
And at the same time, you know, we have a chance to visit what's happening not only in Chicago or Detroit, but what's happening in New York, Los Angeles, Dallas, Texas, you name it, any place around this country and in many places around the world. So it really is relevant.
So how much of this show, your particular show, is being shot in Chicago? How does that work for you guys, moving back and forth from location?
100% is shot in Chicago. There is no moving back and forth.
It's all Chicago.
We're there. We're there invested.
And it's great because the city of Chicago acts as another character in our show. It's such an amazing backdrop. It's got, there's so much happening in Chicago. It's great that we can get into the guts of the city and use that for our show.
And the city has embraced us as it has all the Chicago shows. So it's really fantastic, you know, to have government more or less open up and say, come on in, we want you to shoot here.
And our crews, you know, we have such hardworking crews. They're all from Chicago as well. It's a great thing for us, and I think it's a great thing for the city.
All right, let me just say it again. We in Detroit still love you, even though there was a lot of Chicago love right there. So thank you, guys. It's good to see you.
And we love Detroit.
Thank you.
Yes, we do. So watch and enjoy.
We sure will. Thank you so much for your time. We've got Chicago Justice premiering this Sunday at 9 right here on Local 4 and NBC. We'll be right back.